All right. Well, it is 10 after, and so I think it's about ready to start. So welcome, everybody. My name is Jackie, and I'm coming live from the California Academy of Sciences in San Francisco, California. And today, I'm going to let you know on some things to expect, what we're going to do as a very large group. We have over 20 classes joining us today. There'll be times where I'm going to ask you to turn and talk to a partner sitting next to you. If you don't have a partner sitting next to you, you can also write down your ideas. There'll also be times where we ask you to share out your ideas and observations, what you notice. Go ahead and use that chat box to let us know throughout our time together. Well, I'm really excited because we all get to go on an adventure and visit one of my favorite animals today, and that is a penguin. In fact, can anybody remind me what type of animal is a penguin? That's right, it's a bird. In fact, I see some body parts that are the same as other birds. Can you go ahead and talk to a partner sitting next to you about what body parts do you see that is the same as other birds? All right, everybody, let's go ahead and come back together as a group in 3, 2, 1. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing some of those ideas in the chat box. So we notice that our penguins have wings, just like other birds. Now, to remember that penguins have wings, we're all going to make wings with our hands, and we're going to flap our wings. Great job, everybody. Some of our friends also noticed that they have a beak. Let's go ahead and make a beak with our hand. We're going to open and close our beaks. We also see that our penguins have feet. And some of our friends said that these are webbed feet, meaning kind of their toes are stuck together. So we're going to make webbed feet with our hands. Let's waddle around with our webbed feet. Also, we see our penguins have eyes. Let's go ahead and we're going to blink our eyes. Then what's covering our penguin friend is those feathers. Let's go ahead and we're going to pretend like we have feathers and we're going to clean our feathers. Wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing and looking closely at our penguin friend and figuring out those body parts. We're going to learn a little bit more together today of how our penguins use those body parts to help them survive. But to be able to figure that out, we all need to think a little deeply and may want to ask some questions, which reminds me of some skills that scientists use when they go out and explore the world. In fact, I want to invite you all to become Academy scientists. Now, to become an Academy scientist, we ask everybody to take a scientific pledge to remind ourselves of those skills we need. So let's all take that pledge together by raising our right hand and repeating after me. Today, I'm going to be a scientist. Which means I will look closely, think deeply, ask questions to try to understand the world around me. Congratulations, everybody. You are now Academy scientists. Now, as Academy scientists, we're going to learn a little bit more about these penguins and how they use their body parts to help them survive. But first, let's go ahead and look at where they live. So, if we take a look at a map of our world, where might we find penguins? Where do penguins live? Go ahead and let us know in the chat box. Thank you all very much for letting us know some of those great ideas. So, we're all thinking of somewhere where it's icy cold. And it's true. We find penguins in Antarctica or the South Pole. In fact, we find penguins in South America, Australia, New Zealand, even South Africa. But we don't find any penguins north of the equator. That imaginary line we put on our planet that splits it in half, we don't find any penguins in the north. All the penguins out in the wild, they're going to be south of the equator. In fact, I'd like to go ahead and visit some of these penguins. And to do that, we're going to need to travel on an airplane. We're going to start here in San Francisco and go all the way down to South Africa. When we get there, this is what it's going to look like. Wow, this is a little different than I expected. Go ahead and talk to a neighbor sitting next to you, but what do you notice about this place? Wonderful. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and come back together. as a group in 3, 2, 1. Wonderful. So we're noticing that this is a really rocky place. Looks like maybe big rocks, or one of our friends said boulders. Also, we notice that there's sand here. There's water. And some of our friends are saying it might be a little bit cold water, but we're not seeing any ice or snow. So it's not going to be icy cold here in South Africa. Well, let's go ahead and compare this picture of South Africa to somewhere where it is icy cold. How are these places different, and how are they the same? Great. Thank you so much for sharing, everybody. Let's go ahead and come back together as a group. So we're noticing that there's ice and snow somewhere where it's going to be really cold in one place, where there's rocks in another. But something that's the same is that there's both penguins, but also there's water here. So water is really important for our penguins. In fact, it's somewhere that helps them survive, to be able to live long. And so I would like us to go ahead and explore that idea a little bit further today. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the different body parts that help our penguins survive in the water. Now, let's go ahead and think about what we need to survive. So we need to survive is food. We need water. We may need air. And we need something to protect ourselves. Sometimes we call that shelter. And thank you for those classes that agree with me. So let's go ahead and look at food. We're going to try to figure out, as scientists, how does a penguin catch its food? And one way we can figure that out is to watch them eat. So let's go ahead and watch a penguin eat here at the Academy. See if you can figure out a body part that helps our penguin catch its food. All right. Scientists, what did you see? What body part is helping our penguin catch its food? That's right. They're beaks. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. So if we open and close our beaks, our penguins are going to be able to catch that fish. Now, has any of my scientists ever touched a fish before? If you have, what did it feel like? Yeah, it's gonna feel kind of slimy and slippery, kind of cold and wet. They're not easy to hold on to with our hands, are they? Well, let's take a closer look at our penguins' beaks to figure out if there's something to help that hold on to those slimy, slippery fish. All right, scientists. So, what did you notice that could hold on to a slimy, slippery fish? Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing what you noticed. Yeah, so we're all seeing these kind of spikes or maybe what we call barbs on our penguin's tongue. So that's going to be able to hold on to those slimy, slippery fish and push them down and into its throat and down into its belly. I also noticed that there's no teeth. So that makes me think that they're going to eat the whole fish, including the eyes and the bones and the scales. Now, does that sound like a yummy meal to you? No, I don't think so either. But penguins, they love to eat the whole fish. And so here at the Academy, we like to feed them a fish called herring and a fish called capelin. Now, to get these fish, one of our scientists said that they need to be able to swim and grab that fish. So let's take a closer look at our penguins swimming here at the Academy. See if we can figure out what body parts help our penguins swim. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your ideas. So we know that our penguins are going to use their wings to help them swim, push down the water. So let's all pretend like we have our penguin wings, and we're going to swim by pushing down the water, going really fast. Also, our friends are saying their webbed feet. So remember we made our webbed feet? These feet are going to help them turn. We're going to turn right, turn left. Also, those wings are going to help them turn as well, like some of our scientists said. Now, I wonder, does any of our scientists notice whether they had their eyes open or closed when they swim underwater? Yeah, so we're noticing that our penguins have their eyes open. Well, wait a minute, scientists, do we normally have our eyes open or closed underwater when we go swimming? Hmm. Well, I know when I go swimming, I usually have them closed, but I have a tool to use. When I go swimming, I put on goggles to help us swim. Well, I don't see any goggles on my penguin friend here, but they do have a special part of their eye that acts like goggles. So remember, I asked you all when we talked about our penguins have eyes, we blinked our eyes. Well, when we close our eyes, it's dark because our eyelid is solid. But penguins, when they close their eyes, they have a special eyelid that is clear. And so they can see right through it, and it acts like goggles. And some of our scientist friends already knew this. And other animals have this special eyelid as well. Like some of our friends said sharks and crocodiles and other swimming birds as well. Wow. So I would like to have some built-in goggles just like these penguins. That would be kind of neat. Be able to swim a lot easier. Well, we learned about their eyes and we learned about their wings and their feet to help them swim. Well, I know when our penguins are swimming, some of our scientist friends said it might be a little cold in the water. And I know I might need to put on a wetsuit when I go in the water if it's kind of chilly. Well, we talked about something that covered our penguins that might be able to help keep them warm in the water. Their feathers. In fact, I'd like us to take a closer look at these feathers together today. So these feathers look nice and fluffy and warm. So these feathers are going to be the feathers that are underneath our penguin to help keep them warm in the water. And then penguins, they have 2 layers. So that second layer is going to help keep them nice and dry, what we call our waterproof feathers. So penguins are going to be able to swim in the water really well and keep nice and warm and help protect themselves from the cold water with their feathers, those 2 layers. Wow, we learned a lot about different body parts that help our penguins survive. And I think it's about time for us to play a fun little game where we are going to act just like penguins. Now, to do this, we are going to go visit our penguins here at the Academy and see what they are up to. So first, let's go ahead and say hi to our penguins. All right. Well, we said hello to our penguins here at the Academy. And so now it's time to play our fun little game where you all are going to act just like one of these penguins. So first, I would like you to pick one penguin you want to act like. Go ahead and point towards that penguin. Next, you're going to do exactly what that penguin does. If it's waddling around, I want you to waddle around, but stay in your spot. If it's standing there, just stand there. Maybe it'll start to move. And if it's swimming, go ahead and swim, but I want you to stay in your spot. All right, everybody. stand up, and act like your penguin. All right, everybody, thank you so much for acting like your penguin. Go ahead and sit back down. Wonderful. All right, so we all got to act like our penguins. And I'd like you to just take a moment and talk to a partner sitting next to you about what body part did you use when you were acting like a penguin? What action were you doing? Wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody, for letting us know. So we see that our penguins use lots of different body parts in lots of different ways, whether it's to swim, or maybe using our beaks to help clean our feathers to keep them nice and neat. Also might use our feet to help us waddle around. And also maybe using our head to help us turn and clean those feathers as well. But not only do penguins use body parts to help them survive, but there's also people here at the Academy that help them as well. And I'd like to introduce you to one of our scientists here at the Academy named Amy. And she is holding one of our baby penguins, Parker. Now, Parker was a chick here at the Academy, and he grew up, and just like you all are going to school right now, Parker had to go to school as well. But instead of learning how to read and write, Parker learned how to swim and be a penguin here at the Academy. So he was able to grow up and join our colony, our group of penguins, and become an adult. Now, Parker is 3 years old now, and he actually lives at the San Diego Zoo right now with some of our other chicks and other penguins that they have. So I want to thank you all very much for joining us today. I know our time is almost up, and we had a couple of questions that have already come through that we can answer right now. One of the questions was, why don't penguins slip when they waddle? Well, it turns out that on their webbed feet, there's pads that help them hold on to those rocks. Now, sometimes you will see our penguins slipping a little bit, but they'll be able to hold on to that. Now, one other question that we can answer in the time that we have left together today of why can't penguins fly? Well, it has to do with how heavy they are and the bones that they have. So penguins have bones very similar to ours. So if we touch our arm, we can touch our bone and it's solid. So that's heavy. Where other birds, flying birds, their bones, they have a lot of little holes in them. And that makes them nice and light. So they can use their wings to help push them up into the air. Where penguins, they're just too heavy. Well, I want to thank you all for some of these great questions. And so I know we don't have time to be able to answer all of them, but we will be sending you a email with some of this information to these questions. Now, before I sign off, I want to remind you all that you all can be scientists every day. All you have to do is look closely, think deeply, and ask questions to try to understand the world around you. Thank you, everybody, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you for celebrating World Penguin Day with me. Bye, everybody.